Welcome back to the pond once again, everyone. It is your favorite duck, Zolduck, here coming at you with another Pokemon Omega Ruby Randomizer Nuzlocke video. It is Wednesday, and as you know, on Wednesdays we come at you with these series videos. But this past weekend was Mother's Day weekend, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and hopefully you guys took your mother out to a great evening and made it one to remember. But before we jump into today's video, we do need to do a quick team recap here. So first up, we've got Squirtle, our Jigglypuff with Desolate Land as her ability. We've got Sando, the Landorus, the little genie sandwiched in between those two clouds with Terravolt as his ability. We've got Poe, the Dragon Warrior Panda Pangoro with Defiant. We've got Doja Cat, the Doja Queen Nidorina with Healer. We've got Defeat This, the Arkin with White Smoke. Okay. Lastly, we've got Fivehead, the Elgyem with Lightning Rod as his ability. Although, if I were you guys, I wouldn't get too attached to some of these Pokemon on this list here today. We are expecting quite a few changes, as today will be an encounter episode. We've got quite a few places that have opened up to us now that we've finished Dewford. We just gotta get this old rod from this fisherman who's down here towards the bottom. We're going to be fishing in a couple spots, getting a couple new Pokemon. Hopefully we get some bangers, and if we do, we might just be saying adios to a couple of those members on the team, and they'll probably be living a nice comfy life in the box. Of course, we're going to come into our bag and register that old rod, as we are not some kind of heathen that's just going to go into the menu and select it every single time. That would be a waste of mine and your time. Speaking of time, let me know how you guys spent your Mother's Day with your mom down in the comments section below. Tell me what you did. Did you go and surprise her with something? Did you take her somewhere special? Let's hope getting her flowers was included somewhere in that equation. If not, better late than never. Alright, first encounter of the day, guys. Let's see what we got. Yo, we are not going to complain about a Celebi whatsoever, as long as we can catch this thing, because this is a mythical, so they have a notoriously low catch rate, and we definitely only have Pokeballs and Great Balls, so we're going to have to do a little bit of hoping and a little bit of praying to actually get this thing to stay in. And once again, Squirtle just does not miss, man. I don't think I've seen Squirtle miss a single sing the entire series. Like, she's like American Sniper out here, not missing a single shot. You'd think she's got No Guard instead of Desolate Land or something like that. But regardless, that one ball shake does not spell a good omen for us here. But honestly, it's a mythical. I'm willing to throw every Pokeball I've got at it. Plus, we can always just buy more. I've got a little bit of extra cash since beating the gym leader. But apparently, we're not going to need that. Only 2 Pokeballs. That's pretty good, man. That is pretty good. I'm not going to complain about that. Celebi is a Grass and Psychic type Pokemon, so she does clash with Elgyem, which we're going to have to replace on our team. But I'm honestly not mad about that. Elgyem is not going to put in nearly as much work as Celebi probably will throughout our playthrough, although we are back to square one with the 4 times weaknesses, Celebi being 4 times weak to bug types. Regardless, we're going to go ahead and name Celebi Tinkerbell, because it is a small green little fairy that lives in the forest, and there's just no better name than that for it. Therefore, Tinkerbell will be replacing Fivehead, despite the 15 level disparity between them. Alright, and now that we are done on the right side of Dewford here, we're going to go directly into Dewford and see what we can fish up over there. Anyways, of course it has been a full week since last week's episode, so I hope you guys have all been having an amazing week. My week was pretty eventful myself. You know, I went to work pretty much all the weekdays. Saturday I spent most of the day editing that Dishonored video I ended up putting out on Sunday. And then on Sunday itself, I went out to breakfast with my dad and my stepmom, and out to lunch with my girlfriend and her parents. We had a pretty good time, but, you know, as usual, Monday morning brings us back to work. I don't have the most interesting job, but it pays the bills. And for our second encounter of the day, let's see what we got here. We have a Clauncher. Clauncher is okay as a Pokemon, but really mainly only because of his ability Mega Launcher. And he has terrible ability right now. Oh wow, that is the possible worst thing he could get. Mega Launcher, it makes him good, and not having that makes him bad, and Drought only makes him a million times worse. That is the most unfortunate Pokemon I have ever seen. Although, technically, he does still have some potential. He can evolve, which means Drought would change to a different ability, but still most likely not one that's going to make him any good, since without Mega Launcher, he is just complete dog water. And we're probably going to give him a nickname to match that status. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. So, without further ado, everyone, let's welcome Fish Sticks, specifically to the box, and definitely not our team, because this thing is probably never leaving its prison cell. I would have to be horrendously down bad for a water type to even consider taking this thing out of the box. And let me tell you, I am nowhere near that desperate yet.
But what I am desperate for is those ETBs of White Flare and Black Bolt. Bro, if you guys don't know, my 3 favorite Pokemon of all time are Breloom, Scrafty, and Weavile. Historically, Scrafty and Scraggy have never had a single art illustration rare or secret illustration rare in the history of Pokemon cards. And from what I've heard, this set is supposed to have one of every single Pokemon from Black and White. So for the first time ever, they are getting one, and I am so excited. I wasn't able to get my hands on any from the Pokemon Center website ordering, but even if I have to, I will get these things on resale. I am not missing that Scraggy and Scrafty art under any circumstances. Mark my words, they will be mine. Just like this third encounter is about to be mine. And it is a Sliggoo. Yes, bro. I actually love Sliggoo and Goodra. They're probably in my top 5 favorite pseudo-legendaries. Not even because I have like some sort of personal attachment to X and Y, because Emerald, Ruby, and Sapphire are definitely my favorite ones. But he's just such a silly guy, bro. He's such a powerhouse, yet at the same time, he looks so happy and go lucky all the time. Like his favorite hobby is just to give out free hugs in his spare time. That and his shiny is just amazing. I love that color scheme. I'll throw it up on screen and post for you guys to see as well. And let's go. A first ball catch, man. You guys know pseudo-legendaries have low catch rates, so that's still pretty surprising, regardless of whether he was asleep or not. One of my favorite things about Goomy, Sliggoo, and Goodra is actually that they're a pure dragon type, which, if I remember correctly, there's only 2, being Haxorus and Goodra, and that is honestly so good because most other dragon types have to deal with their additional weaknesses and whatnot, but they just get to ignore all of that. For the nickname, I think we're going to go with Escargot because he is a slimy little slug as Sliggoo, and even as Goodra, he stays as a slimy dude. And that is absolutely another addition to our team. Man, even though we got that really garbage Clauncher, the Celebi and the Sliggoo, man, those are great catches. And why did I do that? Bro, I'm always accidentally running into trainers because I'm just so excited about the other mons that I'm running into and catching, or something else that happened on screen. That is not a good interaction there. We're gonna have to get Squirtle right out of there real fast, even though Squirtle is super effective to fire types. But realistically, he'll probably get nuked by a double kick, so let's just be safe rather than sorry and get him out of dodge real quick. So we're gonna give Fivehead his one moment to shine before he's inevitably boxed for Tinkerbell instead. And hopefully he'll go ahead and get a clean KO on this Combusken to immortalize his grand moment forever. Wow, hats off to you, sir, a one-hit KO. Although a hat probably wouldn't fit on that humongous shiner anyways. But if we ever need a flash user, I'm sure with that Krillin looking cranium you can pull out a solar flare or something. Solar flare! Alright, we are back from making a couple quick team changes here. So to note, we have replaced Fivehead with Tinkerbell, and we did replace Doja with Escargot. I know we're so sad to lose the thickness, but let's be honest guys, unless we found a Moonstone, Doja was eventually just going to be dead weight on the team, and Sliggoo turns into a Goodra, which is always going to be useful. Escargot did end up getting competitive, which he is technically a special attacker, if only by 10 points, but it will be situational, I guess, if we run into a Pokemon of the other gender, and as you saw earlier, Celebi did get pressure. We're going to see what we get in this cave here, as we did not do our encounter here just quite yet. And we've got a Weavile, which, as I just said, I love Weavile, but also in terrible news, we probably cannot use this thing. It's got a 4 times weakness to fighting, and we just can't stack up any more 4 times weakness mons. He shares a typing with Poe, so I guess we could swap Poe out for him. Also, really quickly, dude, Squirtle, what is with the freaking sleeps, man? Miss sometime. Like, you're making me look like I'm cheating or something. Man. But yeah, we probably won't swap out Poe for Weavile just because, dude, Weavile is so frail, and if he takes like any hit from something he's weak against, he's just gonna explode like an atom bomb. And Poe's decently bulky, he can at least survive some stuff he might be weak to, depending on how strong it is. And this is a Nuzlocke, so mons who are just going to explode the moment the wind wisps by are probably not the best idea for team members. So regardless of our love for this mon, it's just gonna have to be boxed, man. Unless we check its ability and it's got something super borked, which I would be all about a pure power Weavile. For a nickname, I mean, Weavile's a pretty edgy guy, so we're gonna go with Gerard, like Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance. I mean, what else can I say? He looks like he would listen to My Chemical Romance, does he not? But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and hit the Pokemon Center to make sure we got max PP before we go ahead and clean up the last couple battles on this island and head to Petalburg for our last encounter of the day. And as is customary before we venture into the unknown, we're just gonna do a little quick prayer for ourselves and hope we don't run into some mega busted encounters. And by mega, I mean literal megas. We're hoping we don't run into any of those right now. Just as a heads up, by the way, the next gym leader's max leveled Pokemon is level 21, so that is the goal we are trying to not surpass with any of our buddies here today, which should be generally pretty achievable considering 2 of them are now pretty low leveled compared to what was on the team previously. Okay, and our final stepping stone before heading out of Dewford is our fishing buddy from earlier. We were right next to him when we caught Escargot, so let's see what he caught in the same waters we were fishing in. And a Chinchou is definitely not even in the same league as Escargot. I don't know what kind of bait he's using, but he is clearly not the master fisherman he makes himself out to be. I know poison is weak to ground, but I can't remember if bug still resists ground. in this generation or not. So I'm just gonna wing it. And you know what? I guess it doesn't really matter if Sando crits anyways. Is it sad that I'm actually considering swapping Pound for a double slap just to make more memes out of it? I don't think I'm gonna do it though, because double slap is just so freaking weak, man. And honestly, I think Pound can still be pretty memeable. Plus, at only 15 power between hitting 2 to 5 times, it'd have to at least hit 3 times to even be somewhat equal to Pound in power. And at that point, you're just gambling. And I'm not really much of a gambling man, despite that one thing I did with Poe in the Mega DNC. That was just straight clip farming. Alright everyone, now it is time to fulfill our unpaid child labor duties, or I guess you could legally call it volunteer work for a multi-billion-dollar company, if you want to call it that. Also, a quick note, for Archon I did replace Wing Attack for Pluck. I think Pluck has 5 less accuracy, but they're the same exact amount of power. I swapped it just because in the event a Pokemon is holding a berry, Pluck would make Archon eat it before that Pokemon could use it and heal itself. Or resist one of his super effective moves with like a Chardy or Koba Berry.
Sin City was Mavia. Angels like you.
Here you go, Steven. This is what we came all the way here for. Oh, we are getting paid. I think we have different definitions of getting paid. You see, getting paid suggests you're giving me money, not a TM that I'm probably not gonna use. When I get back to Rustboro, I'm writing a strongly worded email to your HR department, just so you know that. Yeah, you better get out of here, Rock Boy, and take your stupid, useless TM with you while you're at it. Alright, now back to less legally ambiguous things to do. We are now going to be on our way to Petalburg after we heal up real quick. And that means it is time for another sea adventure with Mr. Briny and Pico, feeling the wind flowing through our hairs as we take a sweet ride on his sweet boat. Unfortunately for Mr. Briny, I know most tour guides live off tips, but because Devin Goods pays in TMs and not cash,
I'm all out of money!
Alright everyone, start crossing your fingers here. This is going to be our final encounter for the day before we head over to Slateport, and we are hoping for speed boost slacking. Please, speed boost slacking. I don't care what ability this thing gets. It is going straight into the box. That is the worst Pokemon. Not literally, but it's down there. It's definitely down there for one of the worst Pokemons. Regardless of this being an absolute garbage, dog water, trash Pokemon, we do still have to give it a nickname, and it is a bell that hops, so we're gonna name it after a bellhop. Let's go with Esteban Julio Ricardo de la Rosa Ramirez, or just Esteban for short. And you know, now that I think about it, since it's a bell, on its way to be dropped off in the box, it can play us a little tune. Maybe it'll pick from the stations am or fum. Those who get it, and those who don't can just call me Unk, I guess. Alright, Mr. Briny, time to shift it into D on that Prindle. We have arrived at Slateport City Beach, also known as Muscle Beach, and we're about to show all these wimps the results of our training. You know, it's a good thing that I put a Mystic Water on Escargot. I was debating the Dragon Fang that I picked up, but he doesn't even have any Dragon moves yet, so I guess this is the best we got for him for now. But realistically, developer Marshall over here only has one Sandshrew, so he wasn't too much of a threat anyways. I think he needs to focus on developing his team instead, because one Sandshrew is not gonna cut it. This is actually one of the few mons that I just don't really have much for. I know Ferrothorn has a 4x weakness to fire, but since Eeyore passed, we don't have that at all. The only thing that really saved us against that Ferrothorn back in Petalburg Woods was the dude legitimately only had Protect. It's not really much of a threat because Ferrothorn's not a strong Pokemon, but it could definitely be annoying. It just has a lot of bulk and can stay out for a long time. I mean, just look at him. He even ate a karate chop from the Dragon Warrior himself. Like, you gotta respect that. You know, seeing that level 12 for Escargot just reminds me that Sliggoo doesn't evolve into Goodra until level 50. Man, we've got a long journey ahead of us for that one. I was about to say something about her calling us a servant, but I mean, she's not wrong, bro. We were just running errands for free, dude. She read us like a book, called us out and everything, man. Dude, why is Throw aura farming on us right now, bro? What is he, Sung Jin Woo? Or potentially even the original aura farmer, Piccolo? Oh, he's biting? Nah, that's definitely Piccolo. Piccolo gets waxed all the time just to hit back harder the next episode. He is the master of getting his butt whooped just to come back and fight harder. But don't worry, y'all. We're not gonna let this man or farm on us like Piccolo did to First Form Cell with that spinning backwards kick. That was nasty. We're just gonna protect like he didn't spend a full episode charging his special beam cannon. Oh man, I missed this seismic toss animation, bro. This one was such a good move. Not even because it's actually a good move, just because it looks so sick to use. I'm so sad they don't have that anymore. Honestly, the Gen 9 seismic toss just looks so soulless compared to Gen 6, 7, and 8. You know, actually speaking of older generations, reminds me I have not told you guys this story yet. So my very first Pokemon game was when I was like 3 or 4 years old. So my dad had bought me, my brother, and one of my cousins each a copy of Pokemon. We all had the Game Boy Advanced, not the Pocket, but the, you know, like the little brick looking one, right? Not the SP. And when he had bought those for us, he had bought us each a copy of Red, Blue, and Green. If you don't know, Green was a Japan exclusive only version, but he didn't know that because he doesn't know anything about Pokemon. And he gave me the copy of Green. So I was playing Pokemon Green completely in Japanese, not understanding anything that was going on, which honestly didn't matter much anyways, because I was 3 or 4, I couldn't read regardless, but it was just so funny to me that he unintentionally bought me a game that there was no way in this world that I was going to be able to read whatsoever, and it was just like, it was an honest mistake, but it was cool that he even went through the effort of getting us all different colored versions just to have us all have something different from the other one. And it was just like such a dad thing to do. And honestly, because I was only like 3 or 4 and I also didn't know anything about Pokemon, I just picked the starter that was on the box, and because I had green version, that happened to be Venusaur, so I picked Bulbasaur. And even to this day, I actually do prefer Bulbasaur over Squirtle and Charmander. I know most people consider that to be a sin, but Onion Turtle is my guy, bro. He honestly held it down for my first playthrough that I had no idea what was going on. I don't even think I ever made it past, like, the rock tunnel because I was just so lost. Alright, but back to the Pokemon game we are currently playing. We are in the market, and as I've mentioned before, all store holders, except for like the guys that sell regular Pokeballs and potions, are gonna have randomized items. So we're gonna see some pretty cool things in these stores that you don't normally see. I'm gonna pick up a couple of those yellow flutes because they could come in handy. An Adamant Orb would be cool if we ever happen to run into a Dialga, although that is probably not going to be a very likely scenario. I'm definitely gonna need a couple of those full heals too at some point. Oh, okay, this girl's just got like all the big ticket items. She's got an Aerodactylite, a Kangaskhanite, a Pixie Plate, bro, she's got everything. She's even selling star pieces. Are those star pieces cheaper than you can sell a star piece for? That might be some crazy money making strat. Dude, and a Mewtwo Night Y? This lady has a cracked store. What is this, bro? She's like the freaking Amazon of Megastones. I was honestly hoping for some better TMs from this guy. I mean, T-Wave is not bad at all, but I don't have the bread for that right now. Maybe if Devin Goods paid in real money instead of a freaking Steel Wing TM, we'd actually have some. That is the wrong store. Yo, this town is good to me, bro. Choice specs. I mean, I'm never really gonna need a timer ball, but soda pops I'll definitely take. These are essentially just a cheaper super potion. I mean, I probably will need a timer ball later on, but I'm just too poor right now to afford more than like 2 of them, and I probably won't be running into something that I needed anytime soon. Came back over here just to get this Pixie Plate because that is definitely going to be useful at some point. I'm pretty sure Squirtle learns Play Rough, and I don't see any reason not to have that boosted since it's going to be our only fairy type move until we run into another one. Alright everyone, we're going to be going in with the final team recap for the episode. We got Defeat This with White Smoke, we got Sando with Terravolt, we got Squirtle with Desolate Land, Escargot with Competitive, Pangoro with Defiant, and Tinkerbell with Pressure. But that will be all for today's episode, you guys. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and as always, I will see you all next Wednesday. Thank you for stopping by the pond, and hopefully I'll catch you guys swimming around again next time. So look out.